Hey, Chris, guess what?
What?
I just discovered this new song. Really underground. You probably haven't heard of it.
If you say something like American Idiot, I swear to God.
No, of course not. That would be crazy. No, it's called War by Edwin Starr. It's about how stupid war is. It's good for absolutely nothing.
Well then, cut to the intro. Let's talk about that.
Did you just steal that from Good Mythical Morning?
Maybe. Hello everyone, and welcome back to BSU The Real Deal, Ball State's premier entertainment news network. I'm your host for this week, Chris.
And I'm Milo, and I was here last week.
We know. Hey, come to think of it, did we ever come up with an excuse why you're not on the show? Like Jeremiah has a heart problem, I have radiation poisoning or something.
I don't know. Who cares? Maybe I'll get kidnapped.
Anyway, what did we want to talk about today?
Something about war, I think.
Like declaring war on the podcast?
What? No! What? No! Why would we do that? Queen Donger has done literally nothing wrong, and I don't know about you, but I don't want to get smoked on.
Fair enough, but then what are we going to talk about?
Geez, we just mentioned it 2 minutes ago, but whatever. We were gonna each discuss a war from history that's funny or even stupid.
How could war ever be funny and stupid? It's a bunch of people killing each other over resources or ideals.
Well, that may be the case in almost every instance. That's not actually true. And in today's geopolitical context, I think it's important for us as a society to reflect on the more humorous parts of history.
Really?
Nah, I just like talking about stupid stuff on the internet. Now let's get talking about the football war.
Hello, Real Deal, and welcome to Dawson's Poetry Hour. Today, I've got one of my favorite pieces, written and performed by Charles Bukowski. From my bed, I watch 3 birds on a telephone wire. One flies off, then another. One is left, then it too is gone. My typewriter is tombstone still, and I am reduced to bird watching. Just thought I'd let you know, fucker. Needless to say, my heart has been touched. Never before have such feelings been expressed so clearly. That's all for now. Back to the show.
Picture this.
Okay.
You were the military president of the Honduras in the 1960s and have been placed in power largely due to the fact that you are not a communist and the Cold War is happening right now.
Sounds cool.
But wait, there's a problem.
There it is.
Immigrants. No, really. You see, your country is neighbors with another country, El Salvador, and despite the fact that you have way more land than the El Salvadorians, you have much larger population, so suddenly farmers start migrating to your country to preserve their personal space, and your citizens are unhappy with you. So what are you gonna do?
Blame the immigrants?
Blame the immigrants.
Where's the funny part here? This is just sounding depressing.
Well, if you'd hold on a moment, I was getting to that. You see, it is now 1969, and the football World Cup is starting, and after 3 preliminary matches, your country, Honduras, loses. Because of this, people in your country riot and attack El Salvadorian immigrants. So, in response, El Salvador invades you.
Again, how is any of this funny? You haven't gotten to the war part, and I haven't laughed once.
107 people died.
That's it. Cut. We're going to the next segment. I veto this.
Who here has ever heard of Diacron? That's a rhetorical question, of course. I would have no way of knowing if anyone watching this answered or not, or what that answer was. Anyway, I doubt anyone here actually has heard of Diacron unless, you're a fan of failed Japanese-American toys from 1983, which, side note, is a really weird niche to identify yourself with. Maybe you want to consider changing that part of your personality. But yeah, Transformers. It's Transformers. I watched Transformers over the weekend. I'm talking about Transformers. That's what I'm doing. So let's get to the review. First off, Michael Bay's, yes, I am only talking about the Bayformers, shut up, 2007's Transformers. Genuinely decent movie. Some might even say good. Does it have its problems? Yes. But there are problems that are only going to get worse in the subsequent movies. It's like being mad at the first humans to harness fire. Was it a stupid decision? Definitely. But in retrospect, it is only going to get worse from here. Next, Transformers 2 Revenge of the Fallen, a bizarre, oddly horny movie that features humping on 3 separate occasions, 2 in the first 20 minutes, that has often been written off as only being bad because of the writer's strike of 2007 and 2008. And to that I say the original Iron Man was made without a script too. This wasn't a case of production issues, this was just 2 chuckle nuts not knowing how to write human dialogue or a coherent plot. Also, lots of racism, like a shocking amount. It's bad. Force scene was cool though. And lastly, because I'm not reviewing the 4th and 5th ones, Transformers 3, Dark of the Moon. All I can say is stop sucking off the space industrial complex, Michael. I get that the moon landing was a big deal, but turning this franchise of toy robot cars into ancient aliens was not the play. And also, why is my cool robot dad canonically committing war crimes? I mean, don't get me wrong, it was awesome to watch, but when I think of Wise Robo-Jesus, I do not want to think of the time that he executed an injured, unarmed old man that was begging for his life at point-blank range with a shotgun. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. I'm Seth, and this has been, whatever this is.
I can't believe you didn't think the war started over a
Soccer?
football game was funny.
It wasn't started over soccer.
Football.
Shut up. It was started over immigration. And that's not funny, that's just sad.
Fine. What's your war over?
My war is from 1859. It's about Great Britain and America arguing over control of some small islands in the Oregon Territory because the people that made the border were incredibly vague when writing up the doctrine.
Okay, that could be funny.
And a dead pig.
Oh, come on!
It's a funny little Berkshire pig.
Yeah, and it got shot. That's not funny.
Well, it's funnier than immigration.
Just cut to the last segment. I need time to process this.
Hello, it's mid-semester here at Ball State. Things are starting to speed up, and so I'd like to talk about one of my favorite games that reminds us to slow down, Night in the Woods. Night in the Woods is an indie adventure game that follows Mae Borowski, a college dropout who returns to her small hometown of Possum Springs. As she reconnects with old friends and navigates the complexities of life in a changing town, we see how everyday interactions shape her journey. The game teaches us that life isn't defined by grand gestures, but by small moments that accumulate over time. It's the day-to-day conversations, quiet walks, and small changes that matter most. Each moment may seem insignificant, but together they weave the fabric of our lives. In our pursuit of big dreams, we often overlook the beauty in the everyday. Mae's story reminds us to embrace these small moments, to savor each day, and to be present with those we love. Ultimately, it's not just about where we're going, but how we choose to experience the journey along the way. In the end, it's the small moments that add up to make an entire life. This has been Jeremiah Envoy reminding you to live well, and I'll see you next time.
Are you good now?
I'll never be good. Porky's dead.
That pig had a name? And that name was Porky? Like the stuttering nerd from Looney Tunes.
No, but I got emotionally attached to it after looking it up and named it myself.
It's a pig that's been dead for close to 200 years. How did you get attached?
Well, you said it's best. It's a funny little pig. It didn't do anything.
Yeah, it did. It kept eating Lyman Cutler's potatoes.
Well, maybe he should have kept his potatoes out of Griffin's pig.
Okay, well, now we're just borderline quoting a real thing that was 100% said by Charles Griffin when Lyman complained to him about the pig eating his potatoes.
Okay, I'll admit that part is pretty funny.
Hello all. I'd like to take some of these last few moments to speak about production. Normally, I'm a talkative man who sits in front of a camera and says silly things written down on a teleprompter. But over the last few weeks, I've gotten some real experience with the rest of production. In this, I have gained a new respect for the process and what everyone involved in has to be able to do in order for us to get these episodes out to you. For details on how my project went, let's just say it was a struggle, and I promise that I will never subject you, viewers, to any of that. I will gladly rather say whatever pops up on this teleprompter. Banana hurricane. Anyways, I'd like to acknowledge the people who don't normally get recognized by the camera. I don't know all of your names, but your work is truly appreciated. Thank you now. Bye-bye.
Since Halloween is coming up, I have a list of ghosts to be wary of at these horrifying times. Silly Carl, a ghost nearby Schmidt Wilson who haunts people and permanently makes their faces ever so silly. Twisty Mike, a ghost nearby Frog Baby who makes people spin into each other like a game of marbles. Beauty Beatrice, a ghost who wanders campus and pulls them aside only to throw them back out looking fabulous as hell, if I do say so myself. Tyrant Snan, a ghost who scares college students' dogs into barking havoc. And finally, Bubby. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say what's on the teleprompter right now. Oh God. Oh, ew. Oh, jeez. Just be careful near the student center, please. Anyway, those are all the ghosts we have at Ball State, as students should be wary about these ghosts. So hopefully the Ghostbusters are nearby. What do you mean the Ghostbusters live in New York? What do you mean they're not real? Looks like Muncie might be a bit screwed this year, so if anyone is brave enough to face these tyrants, please get Bubby first. I'm gonna say this now, the stuff he has done. Oh, God. Please, someone make a rip-off Ghostbusters job. Anything? For God's sake, please. Well, that does it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching.
If you'd like to see more from The Real Deal, be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. In the meantime, I'm Chris.
And I'm Milo. It kind of sucks that we couldn't talk about the Emu War.
Which one is that?
It's the one time where Australia went to war with a national bird and lost.
Ha! Freaking drongos.